Hey everyone, this is Christian Kirsevich. I'm about to invite my co-host, Mr. Nick J. Rishwain, into tonight's event. And we're also going to be going live on Facebook.
Hello.
What's going on, Nick?
Regular stuff. You getting some feedback from me?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Fantastic. About to go live on Facebook here.
Oh, maybe that's why I'm getting feedback. You have a couple. Oh, wait. I have a couple of tabs open. I am the culprit once again.
No worries at all.
Always user error. Almost always. 99% of the time. Are you getting the feedback of my neighbor who's trimming his bushes? Are you hearing that?
I am not, actually.
That's good. Okay. Getting the feedback of my neighbor.
I'm getting a little feedback now, but let me push this live.
I'm hoping we can talk over his trimming.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything, actually.
Okay. Talk over.
Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm not hearing anything, actually. Sorry, my keyboard actually just gave out. Give me 1 second. Let me get this back connected.
Did you get the new they're ready to smile while you're working? All right, there we go. I don't know if that was a good one.
Oops. Let me get back in the middle.
All right, there you go.
Oops. Okay, let me get the Facebook live stream going. Okay, we are now on Facebook as well. So it looks like we have that part working. You still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Awesome.
Do we have anybody with us yet? We've got Mafia Hairdresser in the house. Hello, Mafia Hairdresser.
I think Kelly Kavanaugh's probably going to join.
Okay.
Okay, so we're up on Facebook as well. So just a quick heads up, everyone. My name is Christian Kirsevich, CEO and founder of Social Chefs. I'm joined tonight on Social Chatter by Nick Rishwain. Nick is with experts.com. And you're watching this week's episode of Social Chatter, where we like to share the latest social media news and some tools that we've discovered from this past week. But what we also like to do is we like to put a business plan on everything that we talk about. We try to find things that you can apply in your business, and also some tools to help you along the way as well with creating content or just being more productive. So welcome to this week's show. Nick, you want to say something?
No, thank you. A good friend of mine, Nicole Abood, has joined. Thanks for jumping in, Nicole. I'm just here, as Christian said, Vice President of Experts.com. You can find me at Experts.com VP, and we've got some interesting news items from social media and some cool tools for you this week.
Definitely, and just want a couple of quick heads up on a couple, or heads up on a couple of things. If you want to send us some tweets, we've got, at CK Rocks, at experts.com VP, also the brand at Social Chefs. And then don't forget that hashtag. Hashtag is Social Chatter.
That's right. That's right.
And we are streaming on Facebook as well. So if you go to facebook.com/social chefs, you can also watch the stream there. Or if you like the stream, you can actually go in there and share us, with your network if you want to invite them in.
I got to do that as well. I got to share this on my Facebook page.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up some of the topics we have, because we have quite a number of topics actually for today.
Yeah, good. All right. Ready. Let's see, share.
By the way, if you have any questions during the show, you can put them in the chat window. You can put them in the comments, and we'd really, we'll do our best to answer them.
Yep. Ready when you are. Nicole's probably just tapping her feet, just like, come on, get to it, guys, because that's how she is with me.
Welcome, Nicole.
She's always mistreating me.
So let's kick off topic number one for today. So topic number one, and we talked a little bit about this last week. It's Facebook masks, and this is a really cool feature. Basically, Facebook's coming out with these digital masks, and you can read a little more about it here. But basically, what these are, they're really cool. So if you're using Facebook Live on your mobile device, you can apply a mask so that, for instance, while we're watching this broadcast, I could have this mask over my face for a lot of different things. For example, it could be, like Halloween. They had them out for Halloween last week. They also have had these as well for some sporting events. So, for example, for like soccer, they had a lot of those. What's really cool is these are actually part of an app called Masquerade. And Masquerade is a company that Facebook bought last year, I think it was. But basically, it's really slick. I mean, I don't know if you tried it, Nick. Have you tried these masks?
I have not tried them yet. No. As you know, I use Snapchat more than I do others. So, are you getting feedback from me?
So basically what these masks are, I mean, you can apply these while you're watching your broadcast, and Snapchat actually kind of does this as well, I think, right? Where you can launch a Snapchat and do a snap to somebody and put these masks on. So Facebook's looking to kind of, take a page from Snapchat and apply this to live video. Now, personally, and by the way, Nicole, I'll get your question here in a second. The way that the masks work, I mean, if you're a profile, for instance, these are fantastic for you to kind of really show, your team pride, to really be creative and have some fun with your friends. If you're a business, though, you could actually use these masks for your business.
Any way that you can, and I don't know if they're going to have, I don't know if they're going to have geo filters that you could eventually buy as a business, but I'm assuming that that's coming. The way that Snapchat has geo filters, so maybe you can buy a mask that sort of represents your business in some shape or form, and use that to. And I'll answer Nicole's question as well. Yeah, this is the MSQRD or Masquerade thing that we learned about when we were at Social Media Marketing Day. So they're testing it mostly in Ireland, but I've seen our mutual friend Vincent Orlick do some masks, which I'm assuming he's doing through his Facebook app. So maybe the article is somewhat incorrect as to who has access, or maybe he's got a verified account or something that's giving him access.
So the way that what they did last week actually for Halloween, they did release some specific masks while you were using Facebook Live. You could apply, and they were clowns and that kind of thing. So
okay, so that was for Halloween specific.
Yes, and so you basically had this. You have the Masquerade app, and so the Masquerade app is the current way that if you want to if you want to apply a mask to yourself, a digital mask, you basically launch the Masquerade app, and then that will actually, give you a spot for your face, and it basically will apply this to your face, and you can move around a little bit. Yeah. Now, what they did though specifically for Halloween, they did masks that were available through Facebook Live. So if I was on Facebook on the mobile app and I used Facebook Live and I had the latest version, and they gave me this feature, I was able to use these Halloween masks. So what they're doing is, at this point, is they're marrying the two. They're going to give you, the Masquerade feature inside of Facebook Live is essentially what they're doing.
Okay.
So, and I wouldn't be surprised if they, rebranded Masquerade at some point to Facebook Live or something to that effect.
Right, and that's my prediction would be that you will be able to have art done for you in the not too distant future, some form of geo-filtered art that you can apply, which, for a business. A couple of things that I think that this is relevant for a business. Now, as we often talk, and many of these tools don't necessarily apply to the business that I'm in, and the business that Nicole is often in, the legal field, are probably not going to be jumping on using these types of masks in the near future. Probably very unlikely. But if you're selling consumer-based products, or you're in a restaurant and you're looking for fun and interesting ways to interact with your customers, then these types of things, I think, are very useful.
Definitely. And I see a lot of, here's the thing. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of solopreneurs possibly using these. I think, though, the other thing, though, that for me at least is really exciting about masks is that they're going to let you, as here's the big thing. If you're a brand, most of the time, what happens? Everybody hides behind their business. They hide behind their logo. You don't ever really know who's running the company. And that's where I think masks are going to be really valuable, because, it's all about relationships. But it's also about coming out behind, the curtain of your business. Who are you?
Show that you can enjoy it a little bit. You're enjoying life. You're okay having a little bit of fun, and even poking a little fun at yourself.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of cool things you could do. For example, and I know it sounds kind of it doesn't really sound like it's applicable to every business. But I mean, it livens up the mood of things. For example, if it was the World Series, maybe you're a Cubs fan and maybe I'm an Indians fan, and we could have hats on, for instance, or something.
Right.
Something to that effect. Something, or it's Halloween. So there's a lot of really cool stuff.
There's learn to have fun with these things, and try and find a way to incorporate them while also having fun, because that's what people seem to want to see from businesses these days. Don't do the hard sell, but show us that you have a good time, and that might sell us on your company culture.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, as a lawyer, you're not going to have you're not going to put a Frankenstein mask on or something,
You may not, some might, some do, but the vast majority of them are going to be a little bit more conservative in their intent. So, and the same with the experts in our industry, in the expert witness world. So they're probably not going to, for fear of being shown that picture when they're testifying, probably not going to put on the shark mask or the the astronaut mask or something like that. But in other areas, I think you really need to embrace these things and really have some fun and allow your company to have some fun, because customers are into that.
Definitely. I think with this, it's going to be about experimenting. It's going to be about, if you want to step outside of your brand, test it out, and see what kinds of things your audience likes. Yep. So, and the other thing also with something like this is, if you want to, you could, as a business, conceivably create a Facebook Live video. You can use Facebook Live, for instance, in groups and that type of thing. So maybe if you have a certain inner circle that you work with, maybe you want to have a private Facebook group where I'm in there and I can, be myself and have fun and that sort of stuff.
Yes. And that is the nice aspect of this. And it appears, that they are doing the 24-hour disappearing thing. But the nice thing is, if you and I and Nicole and the Mafia hairdresser all want to jump into a small group together where we can play with these masks and not have it visible on our public profiles, then we can do that. And that's a really nice feature, because a lot of people won't want to put this on their public profiles or share it to all their friends. But I do think that they will want to do it more playfully amongst a smaller group of people.
So, I mean, it's also kind of cool because you could almost conceivably have like a Halloween party, and everybody could come to the Halloween party dressed as some sort of, Halloween mask, for instance. So
that's right. And should we move on to our next? We spent some time on that one. In my mind, I was going on trying to do 10 minutes per news item today. That's what I had. I forgot to share that with you. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I thought that would give us plenty of time to finish up with the tools.
Definitely. So I want to talk about topic 2 here, and this kind of is actually playing off of Nicole's question. Nicole asked, do you think Instagram stories will get these masks next? I think, from what I'm seeing, I think that Instagram and Facebook are going to really start to merge.
Yeah.
I think eventually stories will get them, but here's the reason why I'm saying this. So the second topic actually is, if you log into your Instagram account, this is at least what I'm seeing, and I go into Instagram, I'm actually getting a pop-up that's telling me that I can now manage my Instagram account from Facebook. And this is pretty cool. So let me actually let me see if I get the screenshot in here for you. Let's see.
Yep. He wasn't able to get the image in there, but he was able to get himself out of the room. So do I have to invite you back now, Christian? Or can you jump right back in? Ross Brand is here. Hey, Ross, how are you?
Still there?
And he's back. Yep.
Okay. I'm not sure what happened there, but that was just a little mix up. Let me make sure. Okay, there we go. Okay. So second item was Instagram account management inside of Facebook. How you doing, Ross? So
Ross,
if I can get this screenshot into there, let's see. Let me actually try to share my screen with you.
excellent, if you can do that. And you're doing the managing, as topic 2, you're doing the managing of your Instagram account in your Facebook account, correct? Is that the image you're trying to share? Okay. So I had the next one up as the shopping item.
We'll talk about that in a second. I wanted to touch on it first because I think it plays into what Nicole is asking, and at the same time I think that there's a I think that we should probably have some time for that shopping piece because that's important. Yeah,
and they all kind of merge.
Okay, so let's see. I'm going to try screen sharing here. You still there?
Yep, I'm still here. I'm just looking at Ross's question. Ross asks, is it already possible to manage Instagram within Facebook? And you're getting the notifications already, is what you're saying, correct, Christian?
Correct.
Uh-oh, we got you in here twice.
Let's see.
Must have a second tab open.
Okay. Actually, no, I was trying to actually get the screenshot in, but the screen share doing that. So basically, okay, so I know you're right, Ross. My father told me yes. So basically what you have here is inside of Instagram, when you go in Instagram, and I go to a business profile, it is popping up a box. It's saying manage your account from Facebook. Admins, editors, and moderators of your Facebook page can now create Instagram ads, details, and reply to comments from the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if
that's page only right now, correct? Not files.
Right, page only.
Okay.
And it may be, I think I have a business profile, so it may actually be because of that as well. Because we haven't, because I have a business profile connected.
Okay.
So let me actually see this. So if I go into Facebook, so here's how I would get to it. I would go to Facebook, I would go to settings, and then let me see. There's actually an Instagram ads section here where you can have the account connected. Let's see. So create ads. Let me see how I manage this. So I haven't been able to it just tells me yeah, I can do this.
Well, I think where you're going with this, if you're able to do it, maybe we can do it next time. But I think where you're going with this is based on what Nicole's question was about Masquerade, essentially. And the fact that they've now got Masquerade the same way that Snapchat has lenses and filters and so forth, or lenses, I guess they're called. And I think what your topic was you're thinking that essentially Instagram and Facebook will eventually merge, and this was just more evidence of it. So her question was, do you think Instagram will have these masks?
Yeah.
And it's possible that they'll have the masks before the merger ends up happening, but it's one of those things that if you can now manage your business accounts through Facebook, your Instagram account through your Facebook account, at least through the page right now, then chances are they may try to merge the two entirely. And so then Masquerade would be applicable or available, I should say, in Instagram or whatever Instagram becomes if it's no longer Instagram. Although I think there's branding issues that are available that are make big reasons to keep them separate, even if the management can be done in one account.
Absolutely. And what I'm going to do with this is I'll have the pop up on Instagram. I will do a little more digging on this to see how you can get to this from Facebook. Because when I go on Facebook, I see an Instagram ad section. I don't see an edit account details section. I don't see anything about replying to comments from my Facebook page on Instagram. So, but this is something that is there. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. That's kind of what I was getting to. So
our next item in that same vein, essentially, is shopping is coming to Instagram.
Definitely.
Mobile has changed the way people shop. You browse. This is right directly from the Instagram blog. Browse products while waiting to be seated for dinner. Make purchases on your commute into work, which you shouldn't be doing unless you are on public transportation or you are a passenger. And compare prices online when you're at a store to see what's the better deal. In fact, more than 84% of smartphone users in the U.S. browse, research, or compare products via web browser or mobile app. So starting next week, Instagram is testing a way for a community to learn more about the items they view within the actual Instagram post. And most mobile shopping experiences will take people from the shop window right to checkout without giving consumers the opportunity to consider a product and get more information. However, Instagram says internal survey, they learned that the vast majority of purchases take a day or longer, with only 21% of purchases made in a day. So they're trying to embrace discovery on the platform, but give people the opportunity to do more research before they make the purchase, but then also give them the ability to make the purchase right in the app.
So I will say I like this feature. I watched the video. So if you go to the link that I shared there, actually, I think there's a link in there. If you go to that Instagram article, there are like 3 or 4 videos. There's a lot of brands that are represented here. For example, you've got, I think, like Kate Spade. You've got Jack Threads. You got Warby Parker here. You also have, let's see, Abercrombie and Fitch, Bobble Bar, Chubby's, Coach, Hollister, J. Crew. So a lot of the ones, Levi's, all the ones you basically know. Target, Tory Burch, But it's really, I'm actually fascinated with how this works. This actually reminds me of technology from years ago, like 10 plus years ago, that I was using. Basically, what the shopping feature is going to do is if I'm on Instagram and I see a photo or video, I'm going to be able to like actually see, like, okay, for instance, like what's that shirt that Nick is wearing? I can tap on it and I'll be able to see that and go buy it. You know, and so that's really cool. It's basically overlaying them over top your photos. It's a really slick integration though, because you just tap, you know, it's simple, just tap, and then you basically can check out right there. So
yeah, that's going to be big for, again, very, and I always think of consumer items when I think of Instagram. I think that's a big, and Nicole wants my shirt, but Nicole actually, besides being as humorous and wonderful as she is, did say, watch the amount of fashion bloggers explode. And she said that literally right before you listed off who was using it. So, and it sounded like about 75% of those were fashion or apparel related.
Absolutely. And I think overall, I could see pretty much any business using this. It just comes down to, you know, how that like shopping piece is set up. Because, you know, for example, if I'm selling like physical products, it's easy to just tap and buy, you know, a shirt, for instance, and the company ships me the shirt. But if you're selling like services, I mean, you know, it is going to require a little more of a personal transaction, I guess, like an investment in like, getting to know the person. But I think at the same time, if I'm selling like a service, maybe I'm selling like a coaching session, somebody can easily tap on there and, you know, make a checkout on a coaching session. You know, you sell it, you know, 1 unit, for instance. So, and I will say this, I've been putting together a pretty massive article on different Instagram selling tools that are available. And what's kind of fascinating is this. So most of the old ways that people would sell on Instagram were this. They would put a hyperlink, because you could only have one hyperlink, into their bio.
Into the bio.
They would, post a photo, and then they would tell somebody in the description or the comments, check out the link in my bio. And they would update that link, for instance, constantly. That's one way. Now, another thing people were doing, though, is there was hashtag selling, where you could sell something and you tie into another product. And that product had its own shopping cart, its own inventory management. And when somebody bought something, you know, they could say like hashtag sold, and the item would at that point take you to a checkout. It's just fascinating, though, to see what Instagram has done here, because they basically have sandwiched everything together, and you don't need the hashtag.
Right. Which also allows, if you don't need the hashtag, that allows you more room to write about the product or about what you're doing with the product.
Yeah, absolutely. But Nicole, what other can you think of any other ideas, you know, besides outside of fashion, you know, that you could think that people would be really successful on selling on Instagram with this? You know, not to put you on the spot there, but you know, just
it's good for her.
I mean, we got. I don't know what Bobble Bar is, but I mean, you know, most of these are, you know.
I'm thinking fitness related, health related types of, you know, products, and even some services, fitness related services, are probably going to be big sellers on this.
So Ross, you mentioned tech. What do you think about tech? Do you think, like, for instance, is it going to be a desk? And is there going to be like a laptop and a lamp, and you know, somebody can tap on the laptop and buy the laptop configuration? Or do you kind of see the latest gear? Yeah, I could see like if a company has like a strong investment in like magazines, I could see them maybe doing that as well. Having it where like, for instance, like if you have like Popular Mechanics or like Men's Health, I guess. I don't read a lot of
I'll take it a step further. It'll be really interesting to see how somebody like the New York Times integrate something like this, because they and I'll bring in a little business news to tie into this type of item. It'll really be interesting to see. They shared that they had a 95.7% drop in year after year quarterly profits. Yesterday I found out about this. That was almost all tied to print publishing. And but they said digital subscriptions had gone up, like 129,000 digital subscriptions. I will be very interested, and I actually should probably go and follow them on Instagram, because I'd like to see how news agencies incorporate this type of. So if you like this particular, how can I read an article or see a photograph that I may be interested in buying? And as Ross says here, pay per article, tease a story, and say if you want to read it, the rest of it, 75 cents. Or is this, they tease it out and get a 1-month digital subscription? Can I check out right then and there? Yeah, there will be a lot of clickbait, but it will be interesting to at least see them make an effort, Ross, because to lose almost 100% in year-over-year profits, and have and something as large as the New York Times to say we had a net profit of $400,000, knowing that they have to really change things if they're going to survive this. It will be interesting to see them get creative, and they have been quite creative with AR and VR and even some of their live video tactics. So I'm hoping that, at least for our learning, our at least our own learning in our own show, it will be interesting to see them do this. So I may go ahead and follow them now, so that I can see if they incorporate any of this in an attempt to sell digital subscriptions or other ads.
I was, you got me thinking on the whole like advertising side. I'm a newspaper, for instance. I could almost see like having an image, because you can put up it looks like 5 items you can tag, and I can almost see like somebody putting up like a newspaper image with like different blocks like broken up, and it's almost like, hey, you can buy the headline, or somebody could have the featured article here, or hey, we'll feature your image here maybe. That's something I could see. But here's what I actually see this being. Some businesses are going to really like slot into this perfectly. For example, I think IKEA would be perfect for this. Anybody who's gotten an IKEA catalog, they have, pretty much they have like different rooms set up, and it's going to, they're going to style their photograph. They've already got their photograph ready for print. They're going to probably be able to take that, I think, and put that as an Instagram post and, make all those items shoppable, I would think. I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Excuse me, Nicole mentions, is it only your own products and services that you're going to be able to sell? And I don't think they have determined that yet. At least I don't know that I saw that in the article.
I didn't see that, actually. I mean, it basically says, let me see where it was at. So basically it says so basically here's how it would work. Somebody goes to Instagram, they see a post in their feed. Each post will have a tap to view icon in the bottom left of a photo. And mind you, by the way, this is just photos for right now. When tapped, a tag will appear on various products in the post, showcasing up to 5 products and their prices. Once the tag is selected, a new detailed view of the product will open. So you tap the item you want. It will bring important product information to the consumer earlier in the journey, all without having to leave the Instagram app to search. I mean, that's awesome, because then I'll have to go to your website and be like, well, what was it I was actually trying to buy? Then it says, right. If the consumer taps Shop Now link from the product details view, they'll go directly to that product on the business website, making it easier for them to buy the product they want. So this is actually what I think is going to happen with this. And I know it's speculation, but let's look at, I'm going to jump over to Pinterest real quick. So Pinterest has a feature where you basically, to verify your account, you have to put it on your server, right? To be able to put your website in there. So I would not be surprised if Instagram, had something very similar, some sort of verification process to limit you to only your websites. YouTube has this as well. For instance, with YouTube video cards, you're only allowed to put your website in. I can't, for instance, put a top level domain that somebody owns and then, and drive people back to it. I have to actually verify.
Try and pick up some affiliate marketing fee or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, obviously there's some workarounds for something like that. You can put your own, your own URL as a redirect and stuff like that. But from what I see, that's kind of how I think it's going to work. So it would be cool. You could do affiliate marketing, or a company you support.
It would be nice for a company that you support to have that option at least.
Yeah, Ross, what do you think about that? If you're still with us, what do you see with this? Do you think that that they would have like do you think affiliate marketing could actually tie into this, or do you think because I think you said earlier there's gonna be a lot of clickbait probably, right?
Well, if they can do a better job at clickbait than Yahoo does, where you just can't even read anything on the Yahoo site anymore, in my personal opinion, because it's all clickbait or 70% of it's clickbait, then I feel like they've got a better shot of having some redeeming quality in their clickbait. But between clickbait and sponsored ads, Yahoo has become almost impossible to read.
By the way, and I don't use Yahoo much anymore at all. Actually, I think I choose it for fantasy football.
Right.
But I will say, I see a lot of clickbait on a lot of sites nowadays. I mean, it's CNN's doing it. I mean, every single site that's out there pretty much has some form of clickbait, even though they might not intentionally do some of that. So. By the way, Ross, he makes a really good point. I do, when we ask about affiliate marketing, if that's going to be available, I do more use for IG and more sales for users. So that's actually a really good point because on Facebook's conference call or earnings call this week, they talked about how, they're running out of space for ads. Now, they own Instagram. This to me seems like a perfect segue into the fact that Facebook has now another platform that they haven't even monetized.
Right. That's right.
I mean, this is perfect because a business could easily go on there and actually sell some products. And in addition to this is the other thing I think is kind of neat. So let's go back to that other point about how you can manage aspects of your Instagram account from your Facebook page. So Facebook now has shopping on Facebook pages. They've not quite rolled it out completely, but here's, let's just throw this out there. What if you could add your product inventory on your Facebook page and have it linked back to your Instagram account? So you could do all the stuff easily through your Facebook page, and then Instagram is really just essentially a billboard area.
That's right.
You're able to push certain products maybe there. So just throwing that out there.
All right. So our fourth and final item for the live feed tonight is speed up customers.
What do we got?
Twitter is our topic. Speed up customer service with quick replies and welcome messages in direct messages. Now, I don't like this from the very beginning because it's essentially automated messages is how I'm reading it. That's how I read that. We're excited to announce 2 new features to create better conversational experiences between businesses and people on Twitter. Now, this might make sense for businesses, a large enough enterprise maybe. Quick replies and welcome messages and direct messages make it easier for businesses to guide people to better outcomes through a combination of simple automation and human service. So they're saying they're allowing you to have welcome messages and quick replies set up, automated welcome messages and quick replies. Now, usually you used to have to do this through Crowdfire or another tool to set up these automated responses.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can do it in the native either browser, desktop browser, or native app, I'm not so sure you need to do it yet because I'm still very anti-direct message because it's usually here, have something for free and click on this so that I can get your email address. And it's always sort of a put off for me when a company or an individual sends me an automated DM. But that's also in large part because of the time and effort that I put and our company puts into our Twitter, in our multiple Twitter accounts, and responding personally to people. So what are your thoughts?
So I think that this is actually sort of a copy on Facebook. And I say this because Facebook has a feature for people who send messages to your Facebook page, for example, where you can set up a message specifically to where when someone sends me a message, I could send them a reply that says something like, hey, I responded in 20, do what?
Thanks for connecting. Follow me on LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like 20. Yes, I respond in 24 to 48 hours. One of those like types of things. So
right.
And the messaging feature is called Response Assistant in this case, Facebook. So it's very similar to how that works. Now, personally, I actually use it, but here's the thing. I use it because I tell people, hey, I'm going to get back to you in 24 to 48 hours in that case, because it's got a specific purpose. On Twitter,
that's good. That's okay.
I also here's the thing. If I were do what?
To me, that is like an acceptable way to use it. Like, I'll get to you in 24 to 48 hours with nothing more. Then you're telling them I'm following up with and they're saying this is supposed to be a quick response. So if that's all you're saying, then I think it's kind of an acceptable use of an auto DM. Unless it's followed with follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn and here and here and here.
Go buy my book and hey, while we're at it, let's connect on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Right. So
I think in the sense, if you're going to do it where you're going to say, hey, I'll get back to you in 24 to 48 hours, or also, I could also see this being useful if, let's say you need to put up like a quick message because, you have like a crisis you're dealing with. As a business owner, you might be, that might be acceptable. Like for instance, hey, sorry, I apologize. We have an emergency going on. Send us an email or something. You send them to some other form of communication to where that conversation doesn't get lost. So,
and I agree with you. And we talked about this. I feel like last week for crisis management purposes, this would be a good tool because, for example, web-based business. So many of our businesses are essentially web-based now. But I'm in the web-based business. If for some reason the site were down. But we have people who communicate with us through Twitter, or in many companies do. They put up the pinned tweet, hey, site's down right now, routine maintenance or some other reason. Like last week, unfortunately with the DDoS attack, Twitter was down, but only temporarily. But it would at least allow you, if the site were down for routine maintenance or there was a server issue or something like this gives you another avenue to communicate with people. And if you're a big enough company who's got, okay, now we're, your Chase Bank or Bank of America or something like that, and your site's down, your online banking's down, something like that. And people come over and they start tweeting you with anger because they can't access their information, and you can do an automatic reply that says, hey, we're having an issue with some of our servers, or we're just having technical difficulties. We anticipate having it resolved in 2 to 4 hours or something to that effect. Then it may solve a lot of your problems. In the companies that I see who really implement good crisis management across social media usually are on top of this if there's an issue with their main website.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely one way that I could see this being useful, just because it is, by the way, Ross, thanks a lot for stopping by, and
thanks, Nicole.
Bye. Mafia hairdresser, I'll answer your question in a second, actually. But so going back to the whole like direct message piece, I think this is perfect for those situations where you don't need the company like just totally blowing up your direct message, blowing up your like Twitter account, with like, hey, something down. Like it's simple. They send you a tweet, you encourage people to send you a direct message. This is where you encourage, like, maybe for example, what you do is you put a pinned tweet at the top that's like, hey guys, if you have an issue, it's a direct message, and then that could actually funnel them into getting a little more information about something, or direct them into a blog post where the information is already at. Filling them in with whatever information they need to know. So it's very interesting because basically the Instagram piece, this Twitter piece, they all have very good intent, except for the fact that like it just comes down to how people use it. If it's Instagram and you get a whole bunch of people doing clickbait, it makes it not useful. The same thing with the Twitter direct feature, the auto direct feature. So I, personally, I like this feature. I do like the fact that you can have some sort of welcome message for somebody. The other part that I think I also really liked is the quick replies feature that's available.
Yes. Yeah.
That is going to be super useful if I'm, for instance, an airline, or I'm somebody that is into, if I have a Twitter account that handles customer service. For example, I was on I was on, I think it was like a flight one week, and I didn't have any space for my baggage, and I had just gotten on the plane. I was like, in the middle of the plane or something like that. And it's irritating because I was like, what the heck? Like, how can they be out of overhead space? And I tweeted to the airline, and what they said, hey, can you direct message us? Or they said follow us, and then send us a direct message. So it was multiple steps that I had to do before I was able to direct message the company. Now, at this point, with this new quick reply, I don't have to go follow them and do that whole thing. It basically can happen pretty much instantly. So I can do it right from the account. To me, that's huge. If you're managing Twitter for customer service.
Yeah, and I think, and if you're not using Twitter for customer service, amongst other items, you should be.
And there's also the new feature where you can also go in and put in your support hours. And if you have an account that is a support account, you can actually go in there and check that as well. And actually, you can just go, here's how you get to all of these features. This is how you can set up your, basically you set up your customer service for your business on Twitter. And it's a neat little dashboard. So all you gotta do is go right there, dashboard.twitter.com/settings/support. And that's an entire page where they show your direct messages. They show the support account option, the support hours, and then the welcome message. So I'm going to go back to Mafia Hairdresser's question here, by the way.
Okay.
How do you embed your Facebook Live Huzza Show on your Facebook page? So you're actually going to need a couple of tools for this. And I'm going to give you one of those, and then the other one, and I'll tell you kind of how this works.
I also have to say my apologies to Melissa Giambastiani, a friend I haven't heard from high school, but she saw us on Facebook Live and was trying to communicate with us over there, and I was not watching both feeds, so I've sent her the link to the Huzza stream. That is something we'll have to get used to. I am not yet, and also not being the largest of Facebook users or the most frequent of Facebook users. I really need to get used to all these folks showing up.
So Mafia Hairdresser, the way this works is what we are doing is we're live on Huzza. So we're on huzza.io, and we've got an account there. Awesome. Now, what happens is there's a feature when you go into Huzza where you can publish directly to Huzza, but you can also turn on Facebook Live. So that's going to, at that point, initiate the process. So great, I've got my Facebook Live video going, okay? So you do two things. One is when you go live on Facebook, it actually pushes it to your it's in your Facebook page timeline. So it's actually showing up on Facebook. But if you wanted to take, say, a Huzza video, what you basically would do is this. You would need to first get a landing page tool. And so one tool I recommend is ShortStack. I'll give you a link to that. So that's one tool you can use. That's going to let you create however many landing pages you want. There are different plans that they offer. But what you do is you create a landing page. It's basically your canvas for Facebook. Then you go on Huzza. And Huzza has an option for every video that you do for embedding. Nick, which plan is that available? Do you know if it's available in all of them?
I'll have to look.
Let's see. So
Huzza has all, as I recall, but I don't know for certain because the Legal Tech Show we do not live stream to bore people who are not into legal tech. We don't bother them with that on Facebook.
So actually, I found it. Okay, so what you basically is you set up a landing page on you can use short stack. That's one. You can also use another tool for landing pages. Let me see. You can use short stack. You can also do, you can use lead pages. That's also another tool. They limit you with lead pages to one landing page per Facebook page, but you basically can use either of those tools. You create a landing page. Then what you do is you have to have a Huzza plan. In this case, it looks like you have to have the creator plan, which is like $50 a month. They give you the ability to embed streams and replays. And then once you do that, they have embed code. You just copy it, you drop it into short stack or lead pages. And at that point, it actually, like short stack, for instance, literally connects right to your Facebook page, and it does all the publishing for you. There's nothing you have to really work with. Super easy. You don't have to be techie to do it. Now, let's see. So that's one thing you can do. And then what's cool about short stack is you can actually use it to create pages for your website as well, your blog. So you may want to check that out. But that's how we basically do it.
I've got a dog staring at me, so we better hit some tools. She is looking into the office. Yeah. Okay,
so let's talk about tools. And by the way, just a quick note, there are some other topics. They are going to go up on a blog post that will be out tomorrow. Things such as like a new Hootsuite photo editing tool, and then an update on SlideShare. LinkedIn is making some changes to that. So tool number one, it's called Findo. And have you had a chance to check any of these out, Nick?
I have only checked out, which one is it? I'm good. Let me go back to my Evernote here. So I have not. I was looking at topic 7 as a tool. So no, I missed it. I have checked out tool 2. So why don't you check it out today, actually?
So Findo, right? Findo is actually a pretty neat it's actually a neat idea. So the way that it works is, we're using all these tools. For instance, Nick mentioned Evernote. For instance, I use Google Drive. I use, Skype for conversations. We've got files. You got files on Dropbox, I'm sure. Apple Notes. So what Findo does is basically is a assistant that goes across all of your emails, your files, your images, your notes within Gmail, Google Drive, Dropbox, Evernote, OneDrive, even Yahoo Mail. And what it does is basically you can go on there and you can search across all of these products and find what it is you need. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Pretty slick, I think. I think it's actually a really ingenious thing because I don't really see very many apps doing that sort of thing. Most of them are, like, specifically to one tool. So, is this something you would use, for instance, or as a business, would you use it?
I might. I'm going to have to look into it a little bit more. I don't know if I would. But in a way, I'm tooled out. I tooled and apped out in many respects. The second tool, which is one I downloaded today at the behest of somebody else, I did try, and those things. I've tried it. It's on the phone, and will I go back to it? So I have difficulty with a lot of the tools. There are a couple that we've played with that I have spent some more time with than others. But I really have to find a compelling reason. I mean, you just got me on Evernote 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. And so, I'll say this. I mean, there's tools for everything. Like, for example, I have, I spend a lot of my time in a lot of those apps, like, for instance, Evernote and Google Drive. But I also realize, like, there's a lot of apps that are out there that we download and we use them once, we use them for a week and then they disappear because there's just not the support for them and so forth.
Right.
I get where you're coming from. So what's the second tool, by the way?
The second tool is called, sorry, I'm trying to respond to Melissa from high school. She's trying to download the Huzza app. She was on mobile and she couldn't join us. We will not be able to hear you when you join, Melissa. You will be able to join in the chat on the side. This is a recorded show, so we are not taking guests. But the The second app is called Hype, and their website is hy.pe. And they are another new live streaming app. And I tried it out today, and it is interesting because you're live streaming essentially in a bubble, and then you can pin what we will call pin, for lack of a better term. I think they call it feature. They can feature different texts that if I'm on the hype, if I'm hyping something and you're in there watching me and you're doing the chat on the side, I can feature your particular comment, or I can feature yours and Mafia Hairdresser's comment, or yours and Nicole, and I can put them all next to each other. It's a little bit more interactive. It's a little bit combo of Snapchat and live video, which I'm assuming Snapchat is maybe already planning, but it is a little combination of the two. It was real glitchy with the person that I was interacting with today, so I think it needs some work. I think it will need some work before it. Now that could have just been today. It may be something altogether different in tomorrow, but it was pretty glitchy today. But it looks like it's got some promise as far as being an entertaining and interactive app, live video app. But there's a lot of competition in this area between Facebook Live and Periscope and dozens and dozens of others.
And that's the thing, like going back to your whole like app thing, about kind of being on like app overload in some cases. There are so many apps out here that like they basically do the same functionality as one another. And it's like, why should somebody use your app over some of these other very, much larger apps that are available? For instance, like Facebook Live. Right now, there's not really any other app that I would go use, to do live streaming, because it's just, I'm reaching an audience like that. I know where they're at, for instance, versus like Hype. I'm looking at this and like, I was thinking the same thing. It looks just like Snapchat. But then, isn't there like, what was it? Isn't there one where you can
taking Snapchat and Periscope and kind of mashing them together a little bit?
Yeah.
And it may be really cool in the near future, but what I experienced today, of course, I'll have to give it another shot. But it was how I think there's a lot going on. Obviously, there's a lot going on in Snapchat. There's a lot going on in Periscope. There's a lot of data being communicated, and I think it was having trouble doing all that when you start adding in other people texting and chatting in during a live lead like that. So, and then of course, how good is your Wi-Fi? Where are you at with your Wi-Fi? So, shall we wrap it up with the last tool?
Absolutely. So the last tool actually is a tool called TubeBuddy, and this is actually a tool that I personally use. You're not into YouTube very much, right?
We post legal tech videos over there. We post videos for the company over there, but I don't use it. I don't do a lot of the social aspect on it. So
here's the thing. This is actually, I wouldn't really say it's even like a social aspect of it. The part that is really, so what TubeBuddy is basically is this: it's a companion for YouTube. So for example, if you're going to go upload YouTube videos, let's say, you're putting a title in, a description, and some tags, and you don't know which tags you want to use. You randomly just pick some stuff, right? So what TubeBuddy does is overlays over top of your video, and it lets you, the creator, look up which tags are popular, which ones you are currently using, how they're ranking. For instance, you could see, hey, I'm actually ranking 5th for this particular term. If you want to get ranked for other terms, you can also do that as well. So it's doing that. It has auto-published features. It has some scheduling features as well. Let me think what else they have. They've got things where you can have some templates, for instance, for adding annotations or YouTube cards, filtering comments. You could, for instance, you even have a feature where you could say, hey, move all these videos on this one playlist over to this playlist. You can have it sunset videos. You can have it create thumbnails, schedule your videos, and so on. It is a pretty awesome tool. actually almost say it's like a best kept secret thing, because
Okay.
as you're writing your video, if you want to rank for your video, all you have to, it's about optimization.
Yeah, I did hear about it. Did we talk about this in a conversation outside of? Somebody talked about that. We didn't talk about this one last week, the TubeBuddy?
I don't think we talked about it last week, but you and I may have talked about it before.
We may have had if it wasn't with you, I had the conversation with somebody, and because it was very limited in what it does, right? And it's just specific, very limited use, but could be very effective for helping you rank.
It is limited in the sense that there are different plans that they offer, but and it only works on YouTube. It has a lot of really good functionality that is added to YouTube. It's actually approved by YouTube, so it's YouTube certified. So it's not like you're going to buy this like it's not going to actually be around. But it's really neat because, for instance, they have syndication, so you can publish directly to Facebook.
Okay.
So that's one. For instance, like here's the way people publish to Facebook now. They publish to they publish to YouTube. They copy their link and then they go over to Facebook, and then they have to paste it, or and so forth. But you can do all that stuff from TubeBuddy. You can have templates for your video thumbnails. You can see what your traffic sources are. There's lots of really, really, really powerful features that go beyond just like getting your videos uploaded. I mean, there are things that are going to help your videos. So
to actually help your videos get found. That's the other thing. And don't forget about the value of YouTube as a search engine.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
So
fantastic point. So,
all right. I think that is game for tonight, right?
I think so. Yes. And the only thing I just have for everybody is just a quick link to next week's show. So if you want to subscribe to next week's show, by the way, I'm off a hairdresser. Absolutely welcome. I'm happy to share tools. I love tools. I love tech. I love
he is the tools and tech guy. I'm not sure what my role is exactly here.
Well, tonight your role definitely was to keep us on track.
I'm a timekeeper. I am. He is much more adaptable to the tools and tech, and I am more. How much time is it going to take me, and what exactly am I going to get out of it? And is it going to take me more time to download it and then delete it than the amount of time I'll actually use it?
And that's the thing. I try to find something that every week that you can use as a business. That is going to save you some time. For instance, TubeBuddy, it's going to save you a ton of time. Hype, not necessarily much. And we had what was the other one we had? Findo, for instance. That's going to save you time from a search standpoint.
Right.
So, but with that, there's a link to next week's show, and I also want to invite everybody, if you have not. I also send out a daily email. So if you want to go subscribe to that, it's a quick daily digestible email with some links to social content that I think is really useful for you. I send that out Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. Nick, what else have going? Anything you want to give a shout out on?
Oh, nothing in particular. I want to thank folks for showing up. Thank you, Nicole and Ross, Melissa. Thanks for coming. We'll find out how to get you actually in the right room next week. Thank you for experts.com for supporting this venture and trying to bring expert witnesses into the 21st century. Thank you, Christian, for your assistance, and we will see you next Thursday.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.